God work miracles beyond man's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. He is over the doctors, the any officials. We're just gonna keep it simple and short. But today I want to get on the doctors. I want to get on the ones that misdiagnose us all the time. And there's so many testimonies that people have told me. Like I didn't have a friend. I'm not gonna get no name, but I remember when this person told me that it was a female that she couldn't have kids, and the doctor told her, "You can't have no more kids after these abortions that she have had." Later on down the line, let's say to this day, she got three little girls, which are a blessing in her life, married, living the best life. But in return of that, they do that on purpose. That's why we have to watch what we put on our driver's license, our IDs, mostly for the black community too. Do not be an organ donor. Organ donors are mostly targeted because when you put that on your profile, you make yourself a target. So be careful of that. Keep that in mind. It's just certain things that we put down on paper, even when our race, when we apply for jobs. As they did discriminate us against our looks, against our race, those things in nature, just like our finances, the doctors. Let me get back to that. When we go to the hospital, or doctors, they always want to know our insurance information, our background. So they goes in our background because now you have gave this doctor's office or this hospital permission to get a hold of your medical records. And what they do is they not looking mostly at your illnesses, but also at your finances. Keep up. So the finances, your insurance is mostly what you making, especially workers, billionaires, people with money. They're looking at you as a check. You are a currency to them. You are a wealth to them. So they looking at if you retire anything. It's so many, and they prey on the old and they prey on the young. So they know who they're gonna prey on because they know who brings in the most money. That's why back then we used to always have chicken pox and measles and all this stuff. Why it stopped? A lot of things stopped, and we want to know why a lot of these diseases stopped and stuff, just like COVID. Why did it stop? But so pro se, COVID. A lot of people that took that COVID shot don't even know COVID have HIV inside of that shot. So the ones that did take it, yeah, you walked by faith and not by sight. The believers that know. And I'm one of them believers. I wasn't taking no COVID shot. I don't even care for a flu shot, so you're not gonna get me there. But in the same token, just like with women in the black community, they want us to be on birth control all the time so they can de-escalate and depopulate, and they want to decrease the population of us being born. So that's why they try to mix race. That's why a lot of these black men are naive. They mess up our lineage by going to the other race. No offense to my white community, but they go to the other race to disgrace our race. That's why Dr. Omar, he be on it. I love him, and they take that to discredit us. But in the same token, you can't because either way that baby come out mixed, it still got that melanin in it. But back to what I was getting to. You are a walking finance with doctors. And doctors know when they see your statement, it's just like a bank. They look at you as a meal ticket. So when you get in there, they looking at you could have $1 million on your head in your insurance. They gonna tell you you got cancer, you got high blood pressure, you got diabetes, you got this, you got that. The list goes on. The same as well as women. And then they feel like even in the black community, you are better off dead than alive, just like gunshot wound victims. That's why we need to build a foundation where our culture will have a hospital for our own, because they will discredit us, where they want us on the table or the operating table to cut us in certain ways, amputate surgery and tell us, oh, you got this and that and the third, or you can't have kids. Like I said, my friend long time ago couldn't have. to make us think mentally. And once you start believing mentally that you can't conceive or you can't do this, then it is programmed. And then they start using you up, your insurance and you as a meal ticket. And they start dosing you up with all these drugs, just like the druggies on the street. No offense. And then people have been delivered. I know it's people that's been delivered from it. But in the same token, thank God by God's grace, I'm not one of those. But in the same token, they are out here. That's why you got a lot of the police officials and the laws and all this. They try to act like they getting the drugs out the streets, but the more and more we go outside, you see more and more of these people turn into zombies. Okay? And that's gonna be another topic I'm gonna get on. That's part of the devil, okay? The evil start turning to aliens, okay? But ye are forgers of lies, are all the physicians of no value. They addresses our healers, but who offer false, harmful, and unleashed and useless remedies, acting with deceit. Remember back in the day, our ancestors and our lineage and our grandparents, they didn't use all this medicine. They used the land. They used what was on planet Earth. God is Earth. So whatever's just like, that's why they made weed legal. But now they trying to affect it and make it illegal, in other words. Her princes, her mist are all wolves, are tearing the prey, shredding blood, destroying lives to get dishonest gain, which is money. Money is the rule of evil. So as long as they could tell you what you want to hear, you're going to believe it anyway. You're going to come back and get misdiagnosed anyway, and you're going to take that money and make the hospital and the people richer, just like we make the funeral homes richer. The more we kill each other, the more we do things to make them rich off of life insurance. They're looking at your life insurance. They're looking at your medical records. So be careful. It's a fortune made by lying tongues. It's a fleeting vapor and deadly snares. They snakes. That's why you have the snake wrapped around that pole on the ambulance. That symbol we're talking about, if you know, you know. So for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. It is through that craving that some have away from the faith and piercing themselves with this. The Lord detests and dishonest scales, but accurate weights are favor with him, okay? So he has suffered a great deal from many doctors, and over the years, she had spent everything she had to pay them, but she had gotten to know better. In fact, she was worse. Remember, people get worse, just like people on dialysis. They suck us dry, mainly black community, because we the ones always on dialysis. You don't see no other race on dialysis, right? You don't see mostly no other race with cancer. They like to take, just like blood banks, not safe to go to the blood bank, because in the same token, they're taking our blood and our plasma and giving it to the rich people that got the money and funds and pumping it in them to keep them alive, to keep the money flowing in rotation. You know, money talk, boom ass walk. So, and anything for the love of money, people would do, because they are evil, they are corrupt. Now, that's not for all doctors. If you got a good doctor, you know. But majority of them, yes. Even though you think they're good, they're not. So, keep in mind that your health is your wealth. And know that when we are born, we are worth billions of dollars. That's why the government play with us. We are worth money. We're not supposed to be slaving. We're not supposed to work. That's why they slave us every day to work, to make us sick, to make us tired. We are not robots. You are not put on this earth to be dragged in the mud. We supposed to be enjoying life. That's why you see other countries, they out there enjoying life. They're not worried about bills and stuff like us. Come on now, be in tune. Do your research on your doctor, okay? Especially my people of my color, please. And I had to get this message out here, so hopefully this message find you today and you have a blessed and marvelous day.